My dad became a hero after nearly ending my life, so I brought him to justice. He was the type of guy who'd break your fingers if you sneezed a little too loud. I grew up learning how to flinch and brace myself on instinct. I remember the first time he snapped my arm in two. I was just 12 years old, and he told everyone I had slipped on the porch. No one questioned him, and I was too busy crying to protest. My mom left shortly after, but left me behind like I was some dead weight. The last straw came when I turned 15. I had just got selected to play on the basketball team, but when I came home, my dad told me I didn't deserve that. He said I needed to learn humility and broke both my legs with a shovel. This time I told everyone the truth, but everyone thought I was going crazy and refused to interfere. So I made an exit plan. As soon as I healed enough to walk without crutches, I stole the cash in my dad's safe and left town with all my stuff. I ended up working in construction and eventually became a contractor. Fast forward a decade, and I went back to my hometown for my childhood friend's wedding. I thought I'd stay low and probably wouldn't meet my dad since I was only staying for a week. But then 3 days before the wedding, I went downtown to grab some food and saw him walk in. He had that same walk, same smug face that still made my stomach twist. But what shocked me the most was how people greeted him like he was a celebrity. He was wearing a hat that said Ray's Youth Athletics and was giving fist bumps to kids who called him Coach Ray. He owned a boxing gym now and taught boys how to defend themselves, which was ironic. But I knew that he could never get rid of the real him, so I watched carefully. I stayed in town after my friend's wedding and followed my dad from the gym to the bar every night. I noticed that he would take a duffel bag with him on some occasions, and he held it close like it was special. I went into the bar during the day and asked the bartender if he knew anything. He looked scared to even mention my dad, but then I told him who I was. Thankfully, he believed me when I said I was back for revenge and was looking for any weaknesses that I could exploit. He told me that my dad was running the boxing ring for profit. He would take bets on which kid would win during weekend matches, and parents would pay him to injure the opposing boy on purpose. I asked if he had any proof, and he said no. His own kid used to go to the boxing gym, and although he did pay my dad to support his son for a couple weeks, the payment was always done in cash, and he withdrew his son after he realized this would hurt him more than it would help. But he did tell me that the padlock on the side entrance of the gym was broken and promised to keep my dad occupied that night. After I broke in, I made a beeline for his office and looked for that duffel bag I had seen. I found it hidden under the desk, and when I opened it, the first thing I saw was letters and a ton of cash. The letters were from other fathers, most of which were addicted gamblers and were betting against their own children. My dad would change the training schedule based on whichever kid had the best odds and would take a cut from the winnings of every match. I knew that this was illegal, especially since the boxers were mostly minors, but I also knew that this much evidence wouldn't be enough to send my dad away for good. So I left the gym in the same condition I'd found it in and returned 2 days later with vials filled with illegal steroids. I planted them near the duffel bag and then called my friend, the same one whose wedding I had attended a few days earlier. I gave him a tip about the boxing gym having illegal substances and made sure the raid would happen during the busiest hour. State troopers stormed the place as the kids were mid-spar and found everything. Apparently, the steroids were supposed to be used on horses and could have been fatal to the kids, who could have known. As they arrested Coach Ray and escorted him out, I waved from across the street. My dad noticed me and lost his mind, started screaming that I was the one behind this. One of the troopers grabbed his head and shoved it against the car before putting him in the back seat. The cash was confiscated, and a list was released with the names of all the parents who were involved in the betting games. The gym shut down within days, and someone ran a bulldozer over it in their anger. As for my dad, his reputation was already destroyed even before he was sent to prison. And once other prisoners heard about how he was using kids for profit, they happily took care of him.